Okay, so all we need to do to get to make it sort of obvious who's who is that we can before we're doing this casting, and well, actually, no, we can do it afterwards. We can set the material color. So let's just do that. Let's create a new variable. We'll call it, agent color with a U because we're not American. And it's of color because it's a linear color. So that's going to be the color of our actor. And all we need to do is we need to get the guy who's returned from this, create dynamic material instance on the mesh. We need to call this from our, after we've done whatever we're doing for setting our actor location. Element index is the sub mesh of the thing we want to set the material for, so let's not worry about that too much. And what we need to do is we need to create a material that will allow us to set a color on it. So let's do that now. We go back to mats. Well, we can create a new material. And we'll call it color actor color. Now, can't quite remember what we're looking for. Oh, we were going to do the base color. So if you press 4 again, it'll set the base color. Now this one, we want to convert to a parameter. And we want to give the parameter a name of actor color with a U. And we could set a group and stuff, but basically base color for actor. And let's set up a default that's something sort of like a bluey, lighty bluey aqua color. Might not be very visible against this, but let's just see. Quite close. But we're going to change that color dynamically anyway, right? So it doesn't really matter. We called it actor color. Kind of weird that we called it material actor color and then the parameter actor color. But anyway, so what we're going to do is if we go into a grid spawner, create dynamic material instance. So material index 0 is the material we're going to create a dynamic version of. We then set parameter, set vector parameter value. We're going to name it actor color because that's the name of that parameter we did in the material, remember? That's called actor color. Where are we? Back there. We're going to pass it the new color that we want. So basically that's saying get the material, create a copy of it and make it dynamic, and then set this parameterized value to whatever value we've got in our agent color. And then we're going to call set material on the mesh again. All set material. Off there. Scooch you off there. Set. There's the material. which is the material we just created. So basically, create a dynamic material instance, and that returns the material of element index 0, which is the material that we're using at 0th position. So in this case, but if we look at our actor, show you what I mean. Is he there? No, he's not. Oh yes, he is. Yeah. So if you look at nav character, right, if we click on this mesh, so the mesh component, you'll find that there's a whole bunch of, well, usually there's a whole bunch of materials. In this case, there's two, element 0 and element 1. We're going to override element 0. We could, well, no, we'll override element 0, and we're going to change the color of that material. So element index 0, it's the base sort of texture. Change the parameter name, change the material, and change the parameter name, and set it as element index 0 on the current material of the actor that we've got this mesh for. So the final bit is the source material, which is what we want for I think em_e man body. Yeah. I can't remember. Go to that. Ooh. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, let's do it this way. It's already got a body color parameter on it. So all we need to go is we need to call that body color. We didn't need our own material after all, because the source material for this element 0 has already got a parameter exposed. If we go to that, it's already got this parameter called body color. So somebody, the Epic, thought they wanted to change the color of their actors, which is not bad. Which means that when we do our grid spawner, we can select the color. We haven't made it. Save and compile. Call it public, and compile it again. So we didn't need, go back to our mats, we didn't need the actor color. Delete that. Thought it was going to crash then, for some weird reason. Okay, so what happened to all of our whatever? Going back to our grid spawner. We're going to now set that material. So all we need to do is we select our grid spawner and we set the color. So we'll make these guys green, a light green. And for this one, we'll make these guys a sort of red. See if that works. Yay! Colored agent. So obviously you can do the same setup, the same material changing thing for the circle spawner, but I'll leave that for you to do. The final bit that we want to do is we want to be able to spawn a different type of character. So here's the thing, right? We want to create a duplicate of this guy. We'll call him Detour character. Now the Detour character, if we open it up, we don't want it to just be a character. or rather, we do want it to just be a character, but we don't want it to have on a character movement component. Where is it? In avoidance, we don't want it to have avoidance. Okay, that's good. So we're not going to switch on character avoidance for this guy, but we are going to create a different AI controller for it. So let's do new blueprint. And this time we're going to go for AI Detour Crowd AI controller. So it's going to be Detour Control. Let's call it Detour AI controller. So the difference is, remember our nav controller, we ran our simple blueprint. Well, we're going to do exactly the same thing for our Detour character, for our Detour controller. So just we're going to run behavior tree, full BT. And we're going to have the same set target location thing. So what we want to do is we want to custom event, set target location. And we want to do essentially exactly what we did here, right? So set value as vector on the blackboard. Get black set value. On self. Look at those. Actually, if we set the BB key name in the other thing, let's add the variable, call it BB key name, type name. I'll save that. We can then just paste the. Good work. Again, we're literally doing exactly the same interface, but the difference is that the Detour character, when it creates it, if we say which control it's going to do, it's going to control our Detour AI control, not Detour Crowd AI controller, because that's the default one. This is our one, and our one's going to create our simple behavior tree. Now, the Detour Crowd controller, we need to be able to say what we're going to spawn. Now, theoretically, if we just did our grid spawner, the problem is that when we're doing this cast, we're casting to an AI nav character. Well, what actually we want to do is we want to say cast to a nav character and set its target location, or cast to a, what do we call it? Detour character and set its target location. But otherwise we want to do everything else the same. The one way we can do that is we can do a sequence . And we can do a cast to Detour AI controller. And again, then we just do target location. On. Set target. Oh, it's set target actor, was it? Okay. Oh. Oh, hold on. Separately as vector. It's the target. Hold on. What did we do for the nav? Oh, we passed it in. Not passing in location, are we? Ugh. We need input. Vector. Call that location. In this case, set target location. Yeah, that. Compile that. Same. Of course. Put an object type to cast. No, having a problem. Casting thing. Cast to Detour character. There we go. And then that one should have a set target. Oh, I know. Here am I? If we go to our, where are we? Character. We're still doing this, aren't we? Don't necessarily want to do that, but let's just be that. Set a target location and our character. Add a variable of type vector. Call that our get location. Yeah. And we can literally just cut and paste. Detour character. Self. Ah. So again, no, actually, yeah. It's one of the problems with casting objects is you have to cast to the right type of thing. So again, we'll do a sequence here. And we'll do that stuff the first sequence, and then if that one doesn't work, basically this cast might not work because we're actually not using that type of controller. In fact, why would we do that? We'd cast it to the, we're only ever going to have one. To cast that to our Detour AI controller, And we're going to set target location on it. Of our location in there. Yeah, so blueprints can get messy, can't they, really? So set target location. And it's exactly the same. And then the execution goes on to do the dynamic material instance stuff. So hopefully you can see basically the flow goes the same. We could clean this up, to be honest. We can do different things for the, like, we could have an interface instead of having to cast to these two different types of characters, because they're both characters that implement a specific function. The fact that we're having to do the cast kind of should give you warning bells in your head, really. But it just means that when you spawn, you can spawn either of those two classes and have them work. So when we go to our world, what we can do is we can change the type of thing we're spawning. So our grid spawner, instead of spawning an AI nav character, can do a what do we call it? Was it a detour character? Detour character. And this guy again, spawning a detour character. So when the detour character spawns, it spawns the detour AI controller, which uses a detour crowd AI controller as its parent class, which means it's got the second of the different crowd simulation types that Unreal Engine allows. So let's just try that. Yes. Okay, so going back to project settings, crowd manager. Max agents. One thing you want to look out for is how many agents you're spawning and how many agents you want to be able to handle. That should do it. Resolve collisions. Maybe we should do that. But it's certainly spawning the actors. Good. Let's just make sure it's spawning the right type of actors. So it's spawning detour characters, but none of them have got controllers. Interesting. Let's check and make sure our character, so our detour character, should have AI detour AI controller. Okay. We want to make sure it's placed in the world or spawned for auto possess. You notice there's tons of little sort of edge cases. Might not. Okay, final bit. On our controller, we need to make sure that it attaches to the pawn. So we should have now, there we go, that's better. So we've at least got our characters and our controllers in one spot, which is good. So the question is it setting the correct location? Go to our Detour AI controller. Make sure it's got a breakpoint on it. And play. Have a black bar. We might have. We didn't, did we? Target location. Point off for now. Hooray! So, now that we've got our guys spawning Detour characters, Detour crowd characters, let's up the number of people we're spawning. So let's do 10 by 10. Now, one thing to notice is that if we do 10 by 10, that's 100 characters, and this guy's doing 4 by 4, so 16. Well, project settings in the crowd manager says max agents. Well, if we don't up that number, have a guess what's going to happen? That's right, some of them are going to sit still and do nothing. So watch out for that value if you're playing with this stuff. And obviously that means that all of this stuff for the Detour crowd manager is now possible to play around with. So when you spawn your AI characters, you've got a choice of no avoidance, you've got a choice of RVO avoidance. So you can literally, in your grid spawner, and you can do the same things to fix up your circle spawners, you can choose between nav characters with RVO. You can switch off the RVO on the nav character and just have a non-navigational character. Or you can use your Detour character and have it do Detour avoidance. Let's just see what happens there. So anyway, have a play around with the different values, the default values for these things. Detour is usually a lot better at letting agents move through space when it's obstructed. Apparently somebody's going to implement RVO2 eventually as well, which is the second version of the reciprocal velocity obstacle avoidance code. There's loads of different libraries for doing obstacle avoidance and character pathing and that kind of thing. That, and to be honest, really the implementations in Unreal Engine aren't quite as complete as they should be, because for the most part, these obstacle avoidance systems allow you to sort of push each other a little bit. So anyway, have a play with these setups. So for instance, so this is like a two-way crossing kind of thing. Well, build some levels where you've got obstructions in the way and see what happens with the avoidance types. One of the common setups is we could put a circle in there if we wanted and spawn those. We can make another copy of this grid spawner and another copy of this guy and have him go in the other direction, say. So our grid spawner 3 would then go to target point 3 at the same, and as you know, so probably want to change the color of this guy as well. So change that to a green. Oop, no, a blue, say. Do a blue. So you can have minutes of fun with this, really. I think I went over the limit of how many characters I could use with the crowd system. Project settings, crowd manager, and up that max agents to 500. Obviously the performance hit goes up as you include more. There we go. That's it. Crowd management in Unreal Engine. Play around with it. Do stuff. And enjoy. I suppose we should go through and maybe do the same thing for, let's do it for the circle thing as well, just to make sure we're finished off. So, let's go for our grid. We're essentially doing the things that we did for the grid. So the getting the mesh and setting the material. Let's do that. Yeah. Let's copy that stuff into our circle spawner. What else did we do? The grid. Oh, that was the target actor that we created. Oh, there isn't an agent. Okay, so variable of type. It was a linear color, wasn't it? Type linear color. Good. Agent color with a U. So we're not American. American. Yeah, we need to drag that guy into there. So that's doing the cast for that one. Let's make sure, what else do we need to do? We did a sequence, we did the cast, we did the other cast, right? Okay, so spawner. Go in here, do sequence was and cast to detour character. That works. Set target location. Works. The material. The target location is exact. Realistically, we should make that better, but we won't for now. So yeah, we can spawn the detour character on the grid or on the circle now. So let's just temporarily let's do it over here. So let's create a circle. Circle spawner, radius 300, spawn count 10. Character class, detour character, agent color, yellow-ish. Play. Oh, yeah, okay. Not the best. Let's have a bigger radius. Now let's go 2000 for the radius. Spawn count 80. There you go. So that's the detour version of these guys that are trying to get to the other end of the circle. And eventually they probably will. Probably. Might need to tweak the detour settings for that to happen. These guys are kind of blocked as well. So anyway, tweak the values, see what you get. Hope you enjoyed that. Obviously, what you would generally do is you would go to your maps and you'd create a circle map with just the circle guys on, and you'd copy that and create a grid map with just the grid guys on, and then maybe a map for sort of looking at what happens when they try and filter through a particular choke point and all of that kind of stuff, all that good stuff for doing crowd and avoidance and that kind of thing. But that should get you the basics done, so have at it. And I'll see you in the next set of tutorials.